Hey guys, welcome back. So now what we're going to do is move on to this update password functionality. So go back to our settings.php page, and what we're going to do is take all the code from this if statement right here and copy and paste it into this if statement below, which we created for the save password button. So paste it in there. So we're going to change some things here. Change this to old password, and this is going to be sanitize form password, I think it's called. Yeah, sanitize form password. So change the function name to sanitize form password like that. And then this will be $_post, and it'll be old password. And then copy and paste this line below 2 more times. Okay, and I'll actually get rid of the bottom 2. We don't need those 2. Just keep these ones and change this to new password. And then the name of the new password was, if I just go and check, new password, and the other one was new password 2. So this was new password, and the one below is going to be new password 2, and then finally the name is new password 2. Okay, great. Now this isn't going to be update details we're calling, it's going to be update password. So we need to change the name of the function from update details to update password, like that. Update password, and then we're not going to pass in the first name, last name, and email. We're going to pass in old password, and then comma new password, and then comma new password 2. All right, and put a comma there, and this username can stay the same because we are going to pass the username through. And we can just change this success message to success, and we can just say password updated successfully, and then we can leave this else block exactly as it is. So this part's done now. What we need to do is go and create this update password function. So go back to our account.php page, and I'm going to copy our update user details function. So we had this update details function we created last time. I'm going to copy and paste that below, and this is update passwords, or password. I think it's just update password. Let me just check. Yeah, update password, not passwords. And then the parameters aren't going to be these 3. It's going to be old PW. We're going to have PW and then PW2. All right. So those are our passwords. Now we need to validate the old password to make sure the old password they entered matches the password that's currently set. So this won't be validate first name. We're going to say validate old password, and it's going to take 2 parameters. It's going to take this old PW and then just the UN username. Okay, so let's create this validate old password function, and it's really simple. Underneath there, I'm going to say private function and then paste that name in there. And then the 2 parameters I said it's going to take is the old password, so old PW, and then finally the username, and you can just say UN for that. And this validate old password function is going to be very similar to the login function, because if I scroll up, login function checks if the username and password they enter match what's currently there. So we can just take this whole thing all the way down to this else block. So we don't want to take the else block, take all of this, including the password hash, but all the way down to the else block. So copy all that and then paste it into the validate old password, because that is essentially what we're doing. When we validate in the old password, we just need to check if that password matches what is in the user table for this username. So we can say select all from users where username is UN and password is PW. That can stay the same. These 2 can also stay the same. Execute can stay the same, and in this part, query row count equals 1, we can change that to equals 0 instead. So if it's equal to 0, we don't want to return anything. We want to actually just put something onto the array. So we can say array underscore push like this, and the array we want to push onto, of course, is this error array. And the value we want to push is going to be a string which says your old password isn't correct or something like that. But we need to put that in the constants file. This constants class that we created before, which holds all our strings, we're going to put it into there. So we can just copy and paste one of these, paste it below, and this can just be password incorrect. And then change the text value to incorrect password. And that's it. So I'll copy that name, this password incorrect name. And then inside here, we're just going to push it onto the array. We're going to say constants, colon, colon, and then put the name of the string in there, which is that. And that's it. So this is the validate old password function. That should be fine. So scroll up to our function, update password, and we've got this validate old password function, which should be fine. And then we have to do the validate passwords function. And we've already written that, so all we need to do is just say this arrow validate passwords, and it takes the PW and then PW2. So it's going to check that they match and things like that. And then this part can stay the same. And then we just want to change the query. So update users set. And all we need to do is just password equal to PW, where username equals UN. That can stay the same. But then obviously we want to change some of these. We'll get rid of those two and just keep UN1, and we'll just change this one to PW. And then this is going to be the password variable, but we want to encrypt it first. So what we can do is just copy our encryption code from here in this validate all passwords function. I'm taking that code and I'm just going to put it in there like that. And then set this to PW. Okay, so we've encrypted the password, then we're going to set that as a placeholder, set the username, and then execute the query. And we're returning the query execute, so if it executes successfully, we will get a success, okay? And that's it. I don't think there's anything else to do. Let me just double check, and I think we're good. And we do need to change this details message part, actually. I've just remembered, if you scroll up, we had this password message part, so just copy that, and then paste that in there, password message, and then we can say password message right there too. And then we just need to output that on the form. So if you scroll down to our form section, take this part here, this message div, where we echo the message details, or details message I should say, and scroll down and put it in here underneath the form like that. All right, I'll just move this over. And then change this details message to password message, and that should be it now. So go back to here, I'll refresh the page as well. All right, now try entering incorrect old password. So I'll type in dogs. My password is currently password, so this should fail. And then the new password, I'll just say ABCDEFG, ABCDEFG. So the only thing wrong here is my old password. If I click save, we see an error, but we do see incorrect password, so that's good. But incorrect undefined variable PW, account.php, line 81. Let's have a look. Line 81, so right here. And it's not PW, it's old PW. So replace this part here, but keep this one as PW because we're using it down here. Okay, so this one stays as PW, but just replace the value as old PW. All right, so give it a save and we'll go and resubmit the same data. So I'm pressing refresh, which will resubmit the same data as I had before. And then we'll see incorrect password. Great, that's what we want. Now if I get the password right, so password, which is my correct password, but then I get these two that don't match. So A, and this is going to be B. So these ones do not match. So I'll press that, and you see your passwords do not match. But if I get it right now, password, and I'll set this to ABCDEFG, and then ABCDEFG. This should work. So password updated successfully. And if I go and try and sign in now, log out and try and sign in again. How do we do that? Right here, sign in, and then I'll say Reese Kenny, and I'll try and log in my old password, which should be wrong. Username, password incorrect, great. But the new one was ABCDEFG. It should work now, which it does. Great.